Assalamu alaikum. Hi, how are you, everybody? Hope you will be fine and best mood of life. I am your tutor Isra Ahmad from Tutor for IT. Today is our second class in Introduction to Linux. In the previous class, we have discussed about what is Linux and where Linux came from. So today we will discuss some new concept about Linux. So let's proceed to our class. Okay guys, now what is shell of operating system? Hmm. So in simple word we can say the shell of operating system is the screen we use to interact with the operating system. Okay, the screen we use to interact with the operating system. For example, if you are thinking about Windows shells, so Windows shell is graphical user interface that is called GUI, graphical user interface. With mouse cursor, means with mouse cursor you click on with the help of which you click on small picture called icons on the desktop, and your folders you double click on the folders and it open up. That is a shell, and that is called GUI shell, graphical user interface shell. There is another shell called LUI, line user interface shell. These basically looks like a disk operating system task prompt, where you type some commands and then after pressing the enter key you get something, okay, like open some directories, etc. Okay, in Linux you have to understand about the shell that is line user interface. Now you will think, why line user interface, why not GUI, graphical user interface? Because most of the computer science people guys prefer line user interface, means the task prompt. So when you go to install the Linux, you can install Linux in either GUI Linux, because you can also use Linux as in GUI as a component, like you open something by clicking some icons, okay. And you either use line user interface, means you want to make some changes in directories, you want to open directories, so that is a line user interface. But most of the people prefer LUI, line user interface, okay. uh, and because the line user interface in Linux one, the line user interface is more powerful than GUI, graphical user interface. It is more secure. That is why most of the people in the world use Linux, okay. Okay, so here the main thing about the shell is, we can say the shell is something, okay, used to interact with the operating system. So it can be line user interface or it can be GUI, graphical user interface. On Linux the people prefer GUI, LUI, line user interface, as I told you, because it is secure, and like in server we use line user interface. But the thing is, when you install the Linux, so you get LUI, line user interface, where the cursor blinking. So there is a prompt, so you hang and you don't know, because you are stuck and you don't know the commands, which is the basic thing that we have to understand when working with a Linux environment, in order to get something from computer. So that is all about the shell of operating system that we have discussed. So another talking about Linux is why we use Linux, means why Linux. And as you think, it is very exciting, as it is free operating system. You can get the right of free distribution, anytime. So you are thinking, wow, it is exciting. I'm gonna to install Linux, and all of I'm gonna to use Linux because the Linux is good, secure, etc. um, Linux is good for something, and pretty good for other thing, but let me tell you one thing. As a desktop operating system, Linux may be good for you, but because it it may be attract you because of the UI. Okay, but be careful. It may not be a speed like Windows. Uh, and even me, I use Windows 8. Linux is because Linux ban it freezes. So I prefer to use Windows um, because it can easily do everything for me. So as a desktop operating system, you may play with it, and it may be good for you. Okay. Now the question is we can only use the desktop Linux. No, Linux is used for something good. That is, uh, Linux is used for server functionality. The main reason behind why Linux is used, it is used for server functionality, means it deploys the server because it is a rock solid. Once you install Linux and you set up all the configuration, the Linux server will run for many years. For example, the server where Facebook is uploaded not need to reboot, okay, in every week. But in Windows, in case of Windows, you will reboot the server every week because of memory leaks, the crashes, all of these buggies, etc. So the reason to use Linux is for server functionality, like Apache server, SQL server, SQL database server, virtualization server, email server. These are a lot of other servers. Okay, so when you set up a Linux server, that thing is rock solid, and you just install it once, it will just keep running and running and running. You will not have the same problem as the Windows. Where you install Windows means you just install the Windows today, it works great for you. But when after some updates, means after 2 years from now, the computer working becomes slow, decreases. Okay, because all the updates that Microsoft have delivered to you, and it decreases the performance of a computer, and it is not the case in Linux. So as a desktop operating system, it may be good, it is my opinion. Okay, means it may help you, but don't use it. Okay, if you are new just like me, then it is not good for you. Yeah, and it is only you can use it, the Linux as a server functionality. Okay, so in my opinion, the desktop operating system, it is not good for you people. Okay, but as a server, it is a rock solid. Just install and keep running. Okay guys, this is the end of our second lecture in Linux tutorial, and next class inshallah we will do some practical class, just like install the Linux operating system, and then we will try to learn some basic commands of Linux. We will do it in practical labs also. So take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz.